am live. Woohoo! Coming to you live. I'm gonna wait till some arrive and get myself situated. Oh my gosh, this lighting is like horrible. Okay, I'm supposed to be editing that out, but I don't have the editing down right now really good. But I'm gonna get started a little bit. Well, actually, I still have a minute to go. It's going to be an interesting chat, very interesting. And as always, I do ask for participation. And if you are listening later, welcome. Welcome to my chat. And feel free. If you have any questions, please feel free. You can send me a text if you have my number, or janiedaily@gmail.com. Facebook, instant messenger or direct message, DMs, and I will answer any questions that you have, because this can be a lot. And I'd really like to do is meet a lot of people like myself, and I know that a lot of you are out there, if not everybody who's joining us tonight, and whoever listens to this, because there's a lot of people. We're also known as the Black Sheep. Hello, Miss Dawn. How you doing? I can see your smile. Like, I see your radiating, beautiful smile. So thank you for joining. I was just saying too, we're all basically like black sheep. We're very different. And the topic I'm going to talk about tonight is spirituality versus religion. Can you be both? Can you do both? And, I don't want to be offensive to anyone who is listening to this, but I am going to share my true experiences. And I'm hoping that yours are not similar to that, but they could be. Because there are a lot of people who say that they are religious, but, and maybe they went to school and they go to church like every week and know all the proper rules. But when it comes to like really being religious also means spiritual and being kind to one another, having a connection and no judgment. There's like no room for judgment at all. So anyway, to get started, I cannot see everybody here. Okay. So, hello. Formal hello. Oh, gosh. I am Janie Daily. I'm your spiritual life counselor. I'm a minister. I'm a nurse. I do a lot of things actually, but I love my communication with animals and with the other side. And of course, with God. Of course, that goes without saying. And you guys, I'm actually coming out, so to speak, because you always have to be careful that you don't step on toes or be offensive to anyone, of course. And then again, because of the experiences that I'm going to have, I will share with you, and you will find out. That's why I've always been like a little bit hesitant when I talk about my relationship with God. So, okay. Before we get started too, I need you guys to hit subscribe and the like button and comments. And if you want, you can do like the angel in the messages. I think they are not really looking at how many subscribers, because a lot of people are buying them, and that's nuts. But also to schedule your readings with me. Remember, every month, 20% off every month. So if your birthday is this month, give me a ring, send me janiedaily@gmail.com, and we will schedule a session for you. And I promise to keep them on time, because lots of times it's not always my fault. Lots of times you guys, your relatives, your angels come through and they have a lot to say. So I just kind of repeat the messages. And also you notice I am doing the signs for the week. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to also do like some things out of my course, meditations from Louise Hay. I'm going to be putting them out probably like around midnight for that day, so that you can see them. Like as soon as you get up, you don't have to write in journals. You don't have to do anything. You can just real quick listen. I'll make it short, sweet, simple, and go on with your day and having a great day. Okay. So we have all of that. I do want to say that I also do healings. Okay, just to let you know. And we can do workshops. You can schedule workshops. Because another thing is with the kids, and this kind of touches on the kids too, because I feel like, well, I mean, everything happens for a reason. Our lives, everything happens for a reason. But I feel like if my mother would have stayed around longer, my life would have been very different. Not as exciting though. Sorry, Mom. No offense. But when I say like some of us, and I'm going to even venture to say the people that are listening to this, you're very psychic kids. You have a strong sixth sense. But unfortunately, we live in a society where they're saying, oh, that's the devil. How? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because the third eye is considered sixth sense, but with a third eye, you see memories. You can visualize your loved ones. So that's good stuff. How is that to do with the devil? But it does go further than that. So my mother did die when I was young, and I've always had a very close relationship to God, always, and angels and Jesus and Archangel Michael. Like my list kind of goes on. Sorry, you guys. I'm like excited about the topic, excited but kind of scared because I always talk about angels, guides, your divine family, angels, guides, paranormal was the name of my class at the college. But I never really like came out about God, so to speak. And I didn't because, you guys, I ran into a lot of people who call themselves born again Christians. And the experiences, I'm kind of honestly saying, I'm sorry. With a few, actually, that's not true. Because I have a friend now who's a couple actually that are good. As I've gotten older, it's better, put it that way. But I've had such bad experiences. They were like the worst people to me. I don't know. I could never understand. And then they come out and they're like, they start reciting the Bible, like after they did something or said something really horrible to me. And I'm just like, okay, that works. So, but I feel like how it is, it's either one way or the other. You're either spiritual or you're religious. Why can't you have both? I have both, I mean, do I like follow everything? No. I mean, because even like with if you guys look up, we're supposed to have 10 commandments. So you guys do some research. Find out how many we really have. Do you want me to tell you? We have 613 commandments. 613. We didn't have a constitution back then. We didn't have it. And what happened is population's growing and success is growing. So they had to put a control immediately. You have to. I mean, it's going with that, like having any police force, you have to have structure. So I feel like, they created instruments for structure to keep the structure. I mean, do I feel some things need a makeover? Most definitely I do. Most definitely. Yeah, I kind of didn't do well in the religion class because I did a paper about I want to be a nice little makeover, just add some present things. And the teacher didn't like it very much. Anyway, there's that class. But you can be both. There's nothing wrong with being both. And here's the thing, too. It's kind of like, I guess I'm having this now, too, because there's a young lady who I used to follow or, watch some of her stuff. And she's gone extreme. God says you can't have coffee. God says you can't wear makeup. Like, who are you talking about? Like, come on. Really? Come on. So, and I'm not ridiculing, but I will say this. One of the things, because this is a complex, I'm making light of it. Hi, Jen. And I don't mean to make light of it at all, but sometimes people can have like psychotic breaks. And that's why, like, as a kid, like, I even knew that as a kid. So I knew to just kind of zip it, keep my relationship with God a secret. And although it's like, I never really was, I just didn't talk about it because with my grandmother, when I would ask her things or I would hear my name being called, she told me that was the devil calling for me. And I was probably his daughter. So I kind of opted, not a good person to talk to about this kind of stuff. So I kind of kept it to myself. But I did talk to my mother, who was passed, God, and Jesus. And that's when I met Jesus because I was like, I don't know, I was in so much turmoil. My grandmother was so cruel to me. And I know my family's gonna be mad at me for saying that, but I'm sorry. I went to bed crying that night and saying to my mom, I just want to be with you. And then saying to God too, why can't you just let me be with my mom? I don't belong here. Nobody likes me here. I want to go home. Jesus then. I guess I don't even want to talk about it because I remember like with Jesus, the love that he emits is like, there's no love like it, you guys. There's no love like that on this earth. It was just beautiful. And he basically told me to not be sad and that he loved me very much and that he would walk with me. So it's funny, from that night, I fell in love with the footprints. That footprints is like my favorite. I love that. The footprints in the sand. I can't talk. Hey, Miss Karen. Oh, you guys, thank you for coming up. Anyway, so, but yes, with psychotic episodes, you can have it. If somebody has a history of alcohol abuse, drug abuse, it's very easy. It messes up your brain, especially you guys. Like if you're taking medications and stuff, or if you want to stop taking drugs and or alcohol, don't just stop. It's like the worst thing that you can do. Don't just stop. You have to wean with everything. I mean, especially caffeine. Caffeine, it's not, because you'll be a nervous wreck and you can have like psychotic episodes. But here's the thing too. If you have a medical diagnosis that requires medication, okay, please, yes, God helps you, of course, but you guys, God helps those who help themselves. I mean, that's why, like when I started saying like the other thing about God said no makeup, and that's your personal rules, or they're like, I think they're called the fundamentalist. That's basically their society stuff. The God I know, I don't want to use bad language, but doesn't care about what kind of makeup we wear. It's just not that important with everything else that's going on. And we are here at school. We are all in school. We're attending school. So God's kind of like the principal. You know what I mean? If we go to when we have problems, go to even just then get a pat on the head, so to speak, But he's not going to sit there and go, okay, you have to do this, this, this. No, you have free will. And you were given free will because God knows. No pun intended, but God knows we're going to screw up. We're going to make mistakes. And it's funny because I have a very, very close connection with the other side. I always have my whole life. And that's why I was saying, like, kind of coming out, because my relationship with God has always been very close. And as I said before, I was that little girl in church tugging on my mom when they're talking about, you've got to fear God, and Mom, who's that man talking about? The God I know, he loves us and he's nice. So, but and it's something I will cherish always. And you guys, it's important to have a belief system. But, it's funny because some people have said to me before, you're asking him for signs, and that's disrespectful. No, it isn't. First of all, if it was disrespectful, he would have told me. But he laughs at the end of my dreams. Not kidding, because remember, I was raised Catholic, so I was raised God was male, and that's how God appears to me. If you are Wiccan and you believe in a female God, that's how God's going to appear. That's why next week we're going to talk about this, like transgender stuff. It's not heavy duty, promise it's not. It's actually very light. Not really, it'll make sense. But anyway, so yeah. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry about that. I'm looking at something else and I'm thinking of I wanted to tell you guys something else. But anyway, about that, but I don't really want to hit on that right now. But anyway, but to have the relationship, it's fulfilling. And you don't, oh, that's what the signs. So the signs, yeah, I heard the signs. Okay. So with the signs though, at the end of my God dream, I hear, I know, you want a sign. Ha ha ha. Seriously. And I always get the signs, always. But I did say, if you want me to teach this and do this for work, then I'm very scientific. I need signs. I need to be able to see things, experience things. And this way, I teach it because it's not my opinion, because my opinion does not count. I am simply a messenger. So it is not disrespectful. It's okay if you want to ask for signs and proof of the signs, go for it. It is not disrespectful. There is, oh gosh, there's so much. Okay. And also it's going back to the very religious. Some very religious people don't, you have to dress a certain way or you're not allowed to do certain things. So you guys, I don't know, Karen, if you were with me on this one, but I went to somebody's house who was haunted. And they said to me, it was a nice couple, and they just bought the house, but they would hear somebody throwing stuff in the attic. So, they're like, can you help us? So I said, sure. So I go over and lo and behold, and I said to the people, look, can I just go up by myself? Excuse me. And they're like, yeah, sure. So I went up by myself because I had this feeling. I already knew what I was going to encounter. But I also knew that he was going to be angry and I didn't want anybody to get hurt. And as of me, I have no fear, so I'm good. But anyway, so I go up there and it's a man from I'm assuming it's Southern Baptist, maybe all black. Gosh, maybe even Amish. And the beard. But he was furious, you guys. Furious. He said, I lived my life. I gave my life. I followed all the rules. And I was told that it was going to be this way, and this way. I go there and I find out there's rules for nothing. So I missed so much of life because I was so worried about doing everything right to get into heaven, to get into the afterlife. And I felt bad for him, I mean, I did say, well, go ahead and do what you have to do now in the afterlife so you can come back. I mean, because a lot of people do not believe in reincarnation. And all I can say is this. If you don't believe, just ask. Ask for signs. Ask for dreams. Ask for proof. And your proof may even be where you turn the TV on and there's a documentary about it. Be open. All I'm asking is with spirituality and religion, be open-minded. Oh my gosh, because right now we live in the age of everybody has an opinion and that's the only one that counts. No, that's not. It's not. And it's not always about opinions. I mean, it's kind of like signs. Sometimes when you get one sign, that sign means many things to many people. It's very rarely just one sign. So it's important. It's so important to be open-minded. And, to believe, to believe. Because if you ask, believe, then you receive. And even if you don't believe, God will still give it to you, but you don't receive it. Why? Because you don't really believe. And then you miss a golden opportunity. So it's like, just, hi, you guys. Okay, anyway, so yes. So asking, believe, and receiving, very important. But anyway, so yeah, so with that gentleman, I kind of closed it up by talking to him and saying, what he had to do. But like in the meantime, I'm like, come on. There's like the door. There's the door to heaven. Walk through. What are you waiting for? Come on. And he's like, would you? And honestly, yeah, I would. Yeah. I mean, I think, obviously I'm going to go when it's my time, obviously, and I'm not wishing to go any other time, but it's just, there's nothing to be afraid of. And that's something else that we do here. It's like death is this horrible thing. And it's like, it's not, because you continue. Trust me when I tell you, you're not going to be buried alive. I can make such a really bad joke about that because, like some other countries, how you've heard where people are like knocking and it's like, not a good sign, but it actually has happened. So I'm not ridiculing something. It really did happen before, but not here. Anyway, so you don't lay in the ground. You don't. I had to tell you the dream that I had. I don't know, like if you guys, if you heard my dream, but I had that dream where I died. Oh yeah, because I did a blog on it. I had the dream where I died. Okay. And in that dream, I was dead. But let me tell you, when I saw my mom, like in the park, like when I first, because I told you I was in the truck with my brothers, see Mac, M-A-C-K, big red truck, bam. Next thing I know, I'm at the park. I see my mom. And the first thing I'm doing, you guys, is I'm like kind of mad at her. It's like, why'd you leave us? Did you find somebody else and you ran off to be with another man? Everything that I would do in my full living, waking state. Even when I see her drift over, I'm like, wow, how'd you do that? That's pretty cool looking. And then even she reached for me with a rubber glove on her hand, but that was so I wouldn't see that she didn't have any hands, obviously. And then when she took me to the scene of the accident, I literally was there like I would be in life. I literally was a witness. And I'm asking her a zillion questions. How are my brothers? Da, da, da. And then I see like nobody's around me. And I'm like, here we go. I go through this in life. No medical care. For some reason, they always forget about me. And that's when, I noticed they really aren't doing anything. So when I asked her, am I dead? She just went like that. So that's why, and you guys, I had this dream a long time ago. That's what introduced me to coming forward with the gift that I had, that it wasn't a curse, because I always thought that it was a curse because of my grandmother, what she would say. My dad would say some things too, but would talk about his grandmother, so my great grandmother, and how I was a lot like her, and she was considered the town witch. So it was just, like a lot of negative stuff. But in this dream, she was telling me, this is what you need to be doing, because when they die, they don't necessarily know. They don't have a clue. And I should say too, because I have seen in nursing, I have seen where, there's a lot of people that come around. They do come around for you. So you never are just alone. You'll be greeted by your family members, by angels, by guides. Even in your dreams, when you travel, if you notice, if you are kind of awake and awakens, it's REM. When you're in REM state, you're talking to somebody, and you're traveling with someone, and you're actually traveling with your spirit guide. And your spirit guide knows you better than anybody, knows you better than you know yourself. And I always laugh because I'm just like, like, please, God, please make sure I'm on my best behavior for my spirit guide. Poor Agnes. Anyway, the other thing to remember, laughter, you guys. Laughter, key, huge. And that's what's so bad too with everything that's going on in the environment today. The negativity, the fighting, the anger, it's killing our weather. And you guys, it is knocking all of us out to the point where we are exhausted. Like, some days it's hard to get up and get motivated because that negativity. And what breeds in negativity? Entities. Entities who do not have our best, they don't have our best intentions in mind. So laughter is key. That's why, little note here, that's why sometimes you get depressed, because depression causes lower entities to come around. And they like that. They want you to be low energy, because even that low energy, you're giving them energy. So laugh like an idiot. That's why I can honestly say, I don't know. I've always, ever since I was really little, you guys, I didn't mind making a fool out of myself and laughing. And I think like I tell my own jokes and I laugh at my own jokes, but I've never cared, you know what I mean, about like, what's everybody thinking about me? That's not true as far as like when I do my readings, I like to be 1,000% accurate. And kindness is so important to me. I would never not want to be kind to someone. And then if that does happen, I always feel so bad about that. But anyway, so yes, it's the whole thing, the whole ball, the spirituality, the religion. It's so much fun. It's an adventure. And you guys, honestly, it's like going to school. Every day when you get up, you're going to school every day. And if you don't like a situation, get out of it. This is a 9-year. 2025 is a 9-year. Okay. Cycles are 1 to 9. The 9 is saying choose what you like and keep, and discard what you don't like. Discard it. Because as of January, you're entering a brand new cycle. It's a number 1 year. So keep that in mind, because you'll find too, when something's not supposed to be around, it kind of just dissipates. That's the cool thing about spirituality. And again, I liken the religion to believing in God. I do believe in God, obviously. Oh my gosh, it's so funny too. I'm distracted because the other side have said, and this is some of your relatives, some of your loved ones have said that, hey, we're going to appear. And I notice on my computer, it's not so bad, but my cell phone, it's like that one side is like really smoky. The other night when I was doing the cards, I like literally looked and I go, come on, you guys, you're going to be coming all the way over in my space and nobody will be able to see me. But anyway, but do be aware. Please do be aware. Be aware of the zealots. I call them the zealots. Be kind to everyone. Be kind to everybody. But if somebody is telling you that you're doing something wrong religiously, just thank them. No cursing. Just thank you. Thank them. And go about your merry way and be kind. Because they make their own rules. They really do. And some of them I'm just like, okay. I mean, like this one person is talking about, no, you can't have coffee. Yeah, you can't have coffee. You can't have, I think marijuana, medical marijuana. And I'm like, that's random. I mean, no, I know some people that do it. Some people do take the medical marijuana for pain. And I don't know, I'm kind of old school. I do believe that I'm not familiar with gummies, but I do know back in the old days when I had that pancreatic tumor, Oh my gosh, I was always nauseous and everything. And my doctor had said, because I couldn't take oxy, I couldn't take any of that stuff. It made me so sick. And he was like, you have to find somebody who has pot. So I was like, well, do you have pot? Because I don't have any pot. I don't know anybody who has any. And he's like, I'm your doctor. Okay, whatever. But yeah, so you guys, I end up asking somebody, and he was such a nice man. I ended up asking him for the pot. Well, he's recovering, which made him like open that door again. Anyway, but that totally went in another direction. I mean, if you need something for medical, go for it. But I mean, and for caffeine, that's for you. I mean, there's a lot of people that are very healthy that'll tell you, no, don't take any of that stuff. But it's up to you. You know, trust me, it's not a rule from heaven if you want to get in. That's not at the gate where they have like a checklist and go, okay, do you have coffee? They don't care. I shouldn't say it that way. Guys, you know, I like say all of this with love. That's Karen. That's what I think. I'm almost positive that you were working. You were working with me then. Almost positive. Almost positive. Were you working with me when the family from Philly came down and I did her healing? Because I never saw them again. Never saw them again, which is kind of odd, but I did move. As I drink my caffeine. Whoops. Anyway, please ask for signs. The signs can be anything. And, you know, it's funny because Jen, can I say the story about Violet? Are you okay if I tell that story? Because I think you had said it was okay for me to say it, but yeah, because if you ask for signs, your loved ones, they love you so much and they're so happy. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you this too. Okay, so thank you, Jen. Thank you. Okay, but this is what they do. They'll stand next to you and they will sing a song. They get right here, right? Right here. I mean, to the point. Sometimes, if you'll notice, you could be somewhere and you feel like you can't breathe. That's when it's okay to go, you know, like mom or whomever is next to you, or you have a child. It's like, come on, give me some space. It is. It's like having a child hanging on you and loving you. Oh, I love you. I love you. But anyway, so you guys, what they do, they will next to you sing the same song over and over and over. And then the next thing you know, you're singing that song. So you can imagine when you start singing that song, it's like a party. Woo! They're like happy and yay, she heard me, she heard me. And they really love it. It's really cute. They really, really love it when you get the signs. And so the sign now with Jen, oh my gosh. So I'm doing a reading with her and her grandma's coming through. And her grandma, a wonderful lady, and loves her granddaughter beyond words, and very grateful to you, Jen. Very grateful to you because you got it. That's why I think she should be a nurse. And I think she'd be a great hospice nurse, but just my opinion. Well, and your grandmom's too. So, but anyway, so you guys, so she's grandmom, she's an older soul. And she said, Violet. Okay. So mentally, when I'm on the phone with you guys, like I'm listening to you, but I'm also listening to your angels, your guides. God pretty much gives me the preview before I start the session, which, you know, I should tell you that. I should tell you that. I always get the preview before your sessions from God. Always, always. And I will be instructed to say some things. And, you know, years ago, I was doing a reading for this young lady, and we went to hang up, and I heard, don't forget. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm supposed to tell you something. And she's like, yeah. So I told her this message that I gotten from God at the very beginning, but we had this lady and I, we'd like laugh and everything so much. But so I told her the message. She starts crying. She's like, Janie, just last night I was driving home and I was like yelling at God and just saying, please, I need to know that you hear me. I need a sign from you. So I forgot what I said, but I said something about God says that I'm supposed to give you this sign. And then that's when she started crying. She's like, oh my gosh. But yes, so, and that has been validated by a lot of people. I'm supposed to start working on this website, but I don't know. It entails like your personal stuff. And I'm like so OCD about people's privacy, but I don't know. So I may ask you guys, I think I'm going to start it on Facebook. But okay, Violet. Okay. So grandma just says Violet. So I'm like, okay, Violet. Violet what? And this is where it gets really, really cool. She wouldn't tell me. And this is something too, you guys. She wouldn't tell me. She just said Violet. So when I know when somebody is quiet, that there's more to the story. And it's supposed to be something that I couldn't say because it would have gone against someone's privacy. So I just told Jen about Violet. I go, I don't know, maybe she likes the color or the flowers. But I was like seeing the flower, the pretty violet. Come to find out, Jen found out that her sister is expecting and is going to name the baby Violet. So if grandma would have said Violet, a baby, well, then I would have outed Jen's sister. So not allowed. And but yeah, so that's what it was. So it was so nice because that's her way of saying, I know about the baby and I'm so excited and I'm going to be watching over that baby. And you guys, when they watch over our kids, they do. They really, really do. I mean, I remember walking into my oldest daughter into her room, and back in those days, you laid them on their bellies. So she was laid down, head on the right side. But when I came in, and I had heard noise, but I was doing something in my room, someone picked her up and moved her to the other side because she had vomited. So they moved her away. She had no vomit on her, So it's really nice. It is. It's really nice. Yes, see, Dawn? It's so neat. It is so neat. And it's really bad there too when you have like so many people watching over you, but not really. It's fun. It's fun. And it just, see, Dawn, you're another one. You remind me of Jen in so many ways. Like you're so good with people. You're so good with people. Like you'd be a phenomenal nurse. Phenomenal. Actually, I don't know why, but I'm even seeing like a CNA, because like the CNA actually has a lot more personal contact than the nurse. Because as the nurse, the CNA gets to do more hands-on with the patient. And see, that's what I like. I didn't become an RN because I didn't want the paperwork, because the RN gets stuck at a desk doing paperwork. I can't do my own paperwork. Anyway, but I thought being an LPN would allow me some more patient care, but not really. It was just medicines and treatments and all of that. And really, because everybody was so short-staffed, wasn't a lot of time to sit. But the CNAs can do that. And you're so good with people. So good with people. Okay, so and religion. Here's the other thing with religion. I know I should not say this, but okay, so I am a non-denominational minister. Okay. I was raised Catholic, but then my ex-husband was Greek Orthodox, which is very similar to Catholic. But I've been Presbyterian, Episcopal. I think I've been just about all the religions. But what happens is when you are somebody who has gone around to different religions, then you are somebody who's very intuitive and you know there's more out there. There's more out there. So you're out there and you take what works, and what doesn't work for you, you discard it, you know? But a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have to go to church every Sunday. And, I got to do this, 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 and this for God, to see that I love him and I'm there. No, no, no. I think I don't know. I think he likes people like me, My language isn't always the best. I'm a little bit of a slacker in some things, but I say that with joke and with love, but I'll do what I can to help. You know what I mean? I'll do what I can to help. And kindness is key to me. Kindness is huge. We are taking care of our neighbor's dog, because they have some personal things going on. So, and I'm just supposed to walk her. But you guys, she's so sweet. She's an Australian Shepherd. She's so sweet. So I end up bringing her over here during the day. And oh my gosh, if you do animal communications, that's even better. Because I know what they're all saying. Everybody gets along. The cats, the dog, they all get along. And then Ellie Mae's mama. Yeah, she's big mama. But anyway, the point of that is God wants us to be kind. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Stay on. Suicide too. Not an option. It's not an option. You guys, you're going to go through dark nights of the soul. And they're hell nights. They're hell. You feel like there's nothing good. Everything is bad. So what you do, cry it out, get outside and walk. I used to walk at 2:00 in the morning. I'd say it out loud too. I hope nobody's going to think about jumping me tonight because they're going to be so sorry because I am pissed off right now. Excuse my language, sorry. But anyway, but seriously, go outside, walk, get some air, drink some water. Don't imbibe in, in drugs. Don't, no alcohol, because alcohol is a depressant. So don't do all that. But just talk to God the way that you would talk to me. Talk to God. You will get an answer. You'll get an answer. I promise you. I guarantee you guys, you're not alone. I promise you that. You're not alone. That's the one thing too, growing up, with just the religion, it made it so, you had to go to church. You had to speak to the priest, and tell the priest all your bad things. And it's bad when you're a kid and you're lying at confession, because then that's really puts a bad guilt thing on you. But, and you guys, I say that with jest, but kind of truth. Anyway, but you have your cell phone to God. It's your sixth sense. It's your sixth sense. Why would the devil give you a cell phone to God? That doesn't even make any sense. So that's why when they start all that stuff, it's like, oh, I didn't know. It's kind of like, I almost said this comparison, but I'm not going to do that. But it's kind of like, oh, they're best friends, working together. Oh, okay. But anyway, and God only knows. But you get the point. Just talk. And ask. And you can ask for signs. Oh, good. I'm glad you're looking into hospice care. Yes. Oh, okay, you guys. So, so suicide is not an option. It's just not an option. So please, reach out to me, reach out to people who care, which I'm sure, and everybody thinks they have no one, but that's not true. That is not true. You can ask for the name of your guide. Talk to your guide. They say when you're talking to yourself, you're actually talking to God, or you're talking to your guides who you know are around you. You know who's good too? Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael's a good listener. He will show up if you ask. He will show up. But I always like forget after I've asked, and it's like, darn it. But he does show up. Archangel Uriel, just Archangel Raphael is great with healing. And know that your loved ones, they don't leave you. And remember, for those of you that didn't say goodbye, that's because there's no goodbye. There's no goodbye. They love you so much. And it just gets stronger. So, it's kind of like they do watch you. And I got to tell you, a lot of them are like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. But they kind of sometimes don't say anything because they don't want anybody to take that way out. And you guys, I know I'm not even supposed to be talking about it, but I have seen personally in the course of my learning and travels, when someone did try to go home, I'm going to say, didn't work. And this person was a vivacious young woman, apparently with children. And spent the rest of her life a shortened life in a wheelchair. So it was worse. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that, but I just feel like if it's not your time to go, you're not going to go. It's not going to happen. I mean, and you have seen people that have had fender benders and they go home. And then but you've seen people like cars have like flipped a couple times and they get up and walk away. Spirituality and religion go together. Very important. They go together. But remember, God doesn't sit there and make rules. You're not 5. So when like people start talking like that, it's like, okay, all right, whatever. And remember too, God loves you. Exactly. Hi, Patty. Exactly. But God loves you. That's never going to change. And that you can never do anything. The one thing though, also with spirituality and religion, and I know like some people will do bad things and then you wonder why, like how can they be forgiven? Sadly, everything does happen for a reason. But I don't know, like if you guys have listened to the Watts case, that was a while ago. But I was like, even today, I was like so angry because it's like, it just, how this man killed his family. But then he's picking up a Bible going, God forgave me. And it's like, and I want to go there and go, really? Not the words I got. I receive more of the words where you need to confess and tell the family the truth. Because that's their, I mean, it's bad enough that their family is gone. It's a pregnant wife and 2 kids, like 3 and 5 or something. That's horrific enough. But to not know what happened because he won't say anything. He just went in and just said, okay, I did it. And that was it. That was the end of the case. There was no court case. But it's like if he has any chance of redemption, he has to help the family. He's got to tell the truth. He can read 8 Bibles if he wants. He can read them all night and all day. No. So I don't know. I don't know how I got on that little tangent. But I guess too, it is a lesson too, just to be honest about things. Be honest. And you make mistakes. You guys, everybody screws up. Excuse the expression. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does. This is life. Free will. Gonna make mistakes. We're going to. No one is perfect. Perfection exists only on the other side. And then apparently one of our goals is to reach soul perfection. For those who don't want to come back again, they would prefer to stay as guides. But, there's a lot of them too that are like they're eager. They're eager to come back, and yeah, it is. It's because, yeah, uh, Patty has like a boy. He's not a young man. I don't know why I keep saying like a young man, like he's 5, but he's got the energy of a phenomenal. He's just wonderful. And I do miss him. And he actually did stop by, Patty, but I didn't see you, so I didn't say anything. But yes, Adam, yeah, he's a good boy, very good boy. And you're very brave. You're very, very brave. And you know that he's doing good things, a lot of good things. Patty, you're a phenomenal mom. Phenomenal. So, and that's something too, like Patty, if I can use him as an example, do they wait for others before coming back? Very good question. The way that it kind of works is this. Okay. It's something called alternate lives, alternate lifetimes. You guys, this stuff is so complex, but it's so cool, so cool. So, have you ever had a dream and you are meeting the same person in this dream? You're going to the same location? You know what? That's a good one for I just don't know enough, like in English, like how to say it, to find all the words, because I guess the best way I can describe it is this. So I don't know. I just I had stopped dating. And somebody asked me one time if I was like married or something. And I go, yeah, engaged. And I was like, no, I'm not. Well, but yet I would remember going to a train. Okay. It was like an old train station. It looks like, I don't know, maybe the 50s, maybe. I don't know. And my guy would be there and I would bring him lunch and we would have lunch and we would hug each other and laugh. And, I remember saying, yeah, I'll see you at dinner. So I said, this is not kidding you. So I have that dream with him. I wake up and I'm still, because I've been known to sleepwalk. That's something else too, that psychics, I hate to say psychics because that sounds so like trashy, but people with a strong sixth sense, we sleepwalk. But oh my gosh. So I get up and I start making my bed. And in my head, my husband's outside. So I'm thinking, what am I going to fix for dinner? So I go, let me ask him. So I went to the window to open it up because in my head, my husband's outside. I guess cutting the lawn. And then I woke up and I'm like, I do not have a husband outside. If I start hollering and my neighbors are like, oh, look for a husband, huh? Yeah. And this is when I lived in Bel Air. But it was like crazy because then it was like, but I feel like to answer that question with a very long answer, I feel like that's a life that I'm living, or I was living then. And I must have gone back to see people there too. It's very complex. You guys seriously do research. It's called alternate lives. So I was getting a lot of that in my dreams. And I asked for, validation, for signs. So that day I had the TV on. I walked into the living room and lo and behold, there's something on the Discovery Channel. And this guy is saying, yes, it has been proven that there can be 2 similar molecules in a rock. And he's like, that's basically how it is with alternate lives. I go, whoa, wait a minute. What? Oh my gosh, no. Sorry, let me just turn this off. Oh my gosh, how do I decline? I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I sat down, obviously, and watched it, but it was very interesting. So they do. Yeah. they have ways of waiting for you and coming for you too at the time of your passing. I'm sorry, I know that was a very long story. And yes, you can ask for specific signs. Yes. I think they prefer that because remember too, everybody's different. So when you're asking for a sign, somebody else may, like your loved one may turn around and give you a sign from their day, or their time on earth. And you'll have no idea. You have no idea. But if you guys have like a number, a lot of people too, they talk to each other about like I used to do that with the patients. I would ask, so what kind of a sign are you going to, to show your family to let them know that you made it to heaven? And they tell you a sign. It's really nice. But yes, they, you can ask for specific signs. And not always and going back to that question, do they wait for others before coming back? Not always, no, but they still will appear. You still have the ability to do that. It's so hard to explain. It's so hard to explain. Yeah. Life is kind of like the Yellow Brick Road, like Wizard of Oz. It's very different. It's kind of different. And it is too almost like, how the witch could like see in her crystal ball, like the people, like all of them moving. Well, it's kind of like how it is here. Time is so different here versus over there. The only one who is good with time is God. The rest of them, not the best with time. Not the best. Because God will give you your signs probably within 2 hours, within a 2 to 4 hour span. But it's always been quick. But the others, no. But they and their energy too. Their energy is okay. So Patty's son, Adam, ball of energy. Oh my gosh, you guys. I went to New York with him. We had so much fun. And Patty, I'll have to tell you about that. I'll really have to tell you about that. But it was kind of funny because we went to New York together. And out of all the shows, because this was like a long time, it's like 20 years ago. And they had a little girl on Tyra Banks, the Tyra Banks show, about a transgender kid. And she was like 8 years old and the parents wanted to put her on hormones. So, but anyway, but Adam and I are standing outside because the line was so long and there was somebody kind of being a little flirty. But Adam was just like, he looked at him like so funny. So I took him to the side, like, I got to talk to you. And he's like, yeah. Called After Death. Oh, okay. I have to look into that. It came out in 2023 called After Death. Okay. Is that a documentary though? Or somebody's story, a documentary or? Because there's so many documentaries. And I got to tell you, some of these documentaries, like some of them are not true. I hate to say that, but. Oh, okay. Yeah, Patty. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. The New York story. Anyway, it was so funny. But I just say to him, oh my gosh, you're not really nice. You got to be nice. If you want to have a date with somebody, you've got to be nice. You got to smile. He was fun. And he's still the same way as far as like bubbly and I'm saying the light and airy stuff, and I should close up soon on this, but it is important. Safety is important. I don't recommend saging. I don't recommend it. I recommend saging if you want to clean your house, like if people have been sick, if you have like the blues, new season, but you have to, when you're doing it, say, I am doing this. I want to get all the germs out. I want to get all the germs and get rid of because I've been sad. So like the winter blues and let like the spring in. You got to be specific because if they think that you're trying to get rid of them, they get angry. That's why you have some places, they get angry. And time out too. They're not all bad. There's a lot of spirits that are actually pretty helpful. They're pretty nice. I remember having one spirit that used to tell me that would wake me up and be like, the garage door's up. So I'd be like, okay, put it down. And then I turn around and it's like, garage door's up. It's like, darn it. So, and I've had it too where somebody tried to break into a client's house and the burglar said, like, yeah, well, he got caught, but he said what made him stop was his father in the window. The person, the older man in the window. The client's like, there's no older man in my house. He's like, no, I saw this old man. He looked right up at me in the mirror, like in the window. And yeah, that was a ghost that had been at the house. So this guy was actually protecting the house. So don't be afraid of that stuff. But Archangel Michael helps us. Okay. Archangel Michael really helps us because you guys, you're going to have good and bad with absolutely everything that you do. And unfortunately, you do have people that are like, oh, I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff. I don't want to talk about the sixth sense because it's bad. Come on. I mean, I remember my first time going down Baltimore City, the block, with my ex-husband, because his friend owned a place called Crazy John's, a hot dog place like Polak Johnny's. And you guys, I see an older man, his eyeball was literally hanging out of the socket. And back in those days, I was like blood. I couldn't handle my own monthly thing. So now I'm looking at this man's eyeball dripping down. But what am I going to do? Am I going to go ahead and like put patches on my eyes so I never see anything again? I see more beauty than I do stuff like that. So it works with all of your senses. You see good and bad with all of your senses. Here's the thing too. It is so important. It's so important too for the kids. You've got to like, you don't want them to be afraid. Because once you get afraid, then you close it off. And I should do like a vlog on this too. You want to be safe. Safety is key. And people who have addictions like drugs, alcohol, can kind of be prime targets. Just always, I don't know, I always say surround yourself with the white light of the Holy Spirit, but also when you have communication, have communication with the other side. Talk to your angels, talk to God. You can do casual conversation. It doesn't have to be formal, but that's your family. Like, that's who I said, that's my family. And my family has my back. And if anybody comes around, they let me know, but I know they keep me safe. But remember, God helps those who help themselves. So if you're going to be somebody that's like, oh, I don't believe in that stuff, it's foolish. That's like saying, I know Maryland, but let's say I didn't know Maryland. So I come to you guys, your house in Maryland, and I go, well, I'm going to go on downtown. I'll see you all when I get back at like 1 a.m. You're going to be like, no, that's not safe to go. Oh, no. I don't want to hear about any of that. I don't want to hear your opinions because you're afraid of everything. I don't want to hear your opinions. And me being an idiot and going, on the streets in Baltimore City in the middle of the night because of my ignorance. I'm not wanting to be open-minded and open to what you have to say or show me. It's ridiculous. So it's better to be safe. Because again, God helps those who help themselves. So, because I don't know, there's a couple things I do want to like cover in other future things, like why people wake up at 3 and 3:30, that kind of good stuff, which we will continue. But on that note, please keep a journal. If you want, let's have fun. You can talk to God, ask God for a sign. And you can tell God the sign that you want, and he will acquiesce. So You guys, thank you so much for joining me in the chat. Thank you so much. I would like to do another chat. I just don't know when, because I was going to do like Thursdays, but a lot of people seem to go out Thursdays. So if you guys have any like particular times that you think are good, if you could like shoot me a text and let me know. Again, if you can subscribe, if you can refer my channel, I want us to grow, because you guys, we are a community, and we've been silent long enough, and we aren't here. We're different. Okay. We are different. We are not here for the, ooh, no, this is who we are. This is part of us. It's kind of like, you finding out that you have eyeballs and you can have like, or taste buds. You have taste buds. And all the years you've just been eating one thing and drinking one thing, but now you're finding that, wow, you're able to taste so many different flavors and varieties. And it's like, yes, it's heaven. Well, it's like this, it is, there's so much, but it's a part of you. It's a part of you. So like, enjoy it. It all, honestly, and numbers, pay attention to numbers, because the other side uses numbers. You guys, thank you so much. I love you all. Remember birthdays, 20% off. And I will talk to you later. Again, thanks, you guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you and love all of you. Let's see. Okay. I love you guys.